So welcome back to another video in this little series with some tips and tricks for MX bikes. Today I'm going to look a bit closer on how to utilize your rider left and right lean, because many people have asked for that. So first off, I want to look at what actually happens when we are leaning with the rider. So if I'm pushing my right stick to the left, my bike and my rider's hip is actually going to the right, but you can see the kind of upper body is leaning a little bit to the left. So when we are coming into corner and we are leaning to the left and we are turning left, so we're leaning to the same right side as we are turning, and the rider's hips is kind of pushing the opposite direction of the corner. What this does is the bike is kind of standing up a little bit more, so we have to turn more on our left stick for the bike to be able to turn as much as we want. Now, I really like to do this in corners where we can have a lot of speed and we can basically just haul ass through the corner, and I feel like leaning in the same direction as you're turning helps you stay a little bit better in the rut. So if we now turn the opposite way of what we are turning, so we are turning left but we are leaning to the right with our right stick, you can see now the hips and the bike is kind of pushing in the same direction as we're turning, while the upper body is pointing out of the corner. This is going to make the bike feel a little bit more stable in my opinion, and it wants to go a little bit straighter. So in wider corners where you want more stability, I suggest that you're leaning to the opposite side of what you're turning, also often referred to as counter leaning. So when do we want to counter lean and when do we want to lean in the same direction? Well, for me it all depends on the corner itself. On this very tight corner, I lean in the same direction just because you are able to lean the bike down more and get higher on the edge of the berm, which helps the bike track a lot better on the berm. So if we look closer here, when we are leaning in the same direction as we're turning, the bike is kind of being pushed up a little bit away from the direction we are turning, which then means that we can turn more with our left stick, and it helps the bike stay on top of the berm and track through the berm a lot better. While on the other hand, if we are counter leaning, the bike is getting pushed in the same direction as we are turning, and you may feel like the bike generally want to go a little bit straighter and more stable if you are counter leaning, and as you can see, the bike isn't tracking as good through the rut. Now we kind of pushing the bike in the same direction, which means we can turn less on the left stick without having the bike literally touch the ground. While on the other hand, a much wider corner like this, it doesn't really matter too much since it is very smooth and nice. This is more personal preference what you want to do here, but if you're trying to go fast, I suggest you lean in the same direction, because as I said earlier, you're able to turn more with your left stick and thereby turn sharper in the corner. So my recommendation is for very fast corners with good ruts, you lean in the same direction, but if the rut doesn't hold you as well, it's kind of washed out, so it doesn't hold you, then you kind of want to counter lean, because if you are leaning in the same direction, you have to turn more with your left stick, so the bike is going to be at a sharper angle, but if we don't have anything to bank off of, then we're gonna crash. So I'm gonna put up my controller overlay. One thing to notice is my right and left lean are reversed, so you're gonna do the opposite of the way I'm leaning right and left. And the reason why I want to show a controller overlay is just to show how little we need to lean, because we mainly want to lean forward, we don't want to lean a lot sideways, and also for you to kind of see like when I'm counter leaning and when I'm leaning in the same direction. So this corner right here is a very good corner to counter lean, because it's very wide and you don't have to turn sharp, so if you counter lean, the bike is gonna feel more stable. While in these sharper corners, I want to lean in the same direction, just to be able to track the rut a lot better and turn sharper. Another thing to think about is, depending on if you lean right or left, the bike is gonna get pushed right to left, right? And this could come really handy in like tighter corners when you're close to the inside and you don't want to hit the inside thing here. So now I'm leaning in the same direction, which means I'm pushing my bike outwards away from the inside here, and thereby I am able to stay higher on the rut, and you can see that helps me stay away from the inside, so you can use your left and right lean to do that as well. So when it comes to flat corners, we want to counter lean, and I have my controller overlay on just for you to see kind of how much we want to counterlean. And remember, my left and right stick are reversed, but the reason we want to counterlean is to make the bike stable. So that's basically it for this video. So just a little recap: in tight corners, generally lean the same direction as you're turning, just because when you're leaning in the same direction, your bike get pushed the opposite way, so you can turn sharper with your left stick, which helps you turn sharper overall. It also helps you stay higher on the rut, and it helps track the rut better. While in some wider corners, you maybe want some more stability, then you want to lean the opposite way that you're turning, also often called counterleaning. And as for flat corners, I generally find that counterleaning helps me feel more stable, and I just like it a lot better. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave a comment or contact me through Discord. My Discord server is linked in the description. Yeah.